That rhythm you just heard, that's flamenco. In the hills above a city that's been holding that music for centuries. A place where narrow Moorish streets wind beneath a palace. Granada is one of those cities that feels different from the moment you arrive. Where flamenco echoes from cave houses, free tapas arrive with every drink, and every path seems to lead toward one direction: the Alhambra. Over the next 2 days, we'll explore one of Spain's most fascinating cities and discover why Granada became one of the highlights of our entire Andalusia journey.
Muy bonito!
Granada shows you, in the space of 2 days, the story of civilizations meeting and clashing, and ultimately, in the carved walls of the Alhambra, leaving behind something that outlasted all of them. After an unforgettable day in Cordoba, we boarded the train to Granada. From Cordoba to Granada, the Renfe train ride was really good, and soon enough we found ourselves arriving in a city that feels completely different from anywhere else in Spain. We checked in, dropped our bags, and went straight out because day one in Granada had a purpose: not to see the Alhambra, but to feel the city that grew up beneath it. Our first stop was Mercado de San AgustÍn. This is where you get all the fresh local produce, and to have a feeling of a place, you definitely need to come to these marketplaces, what the locals do, how they eat, and what they shop. So you have all the different jamons and fresh cervezas and pescado. There's so many options to choose from. So just come here, enjoy. Gracias.
Anchovy dipped in olive oil.
The artichoke is simply classic.
Muy bueno!
Everything is so fresh here, incredible to try the jamon for the first time.
It's too good.
A short walk away, Granada Cathedral rises above the old city. Grand, imposing, unmistakably the architecture of a Spain that was asserting something when it built this. The construction was started in the year 1523, and it was after the Moors were defeated by the Christians. It used to be an earlier site of a mosque, and that is where the cathedral was built. The cathedral is one thing, and then there is the chapel. Ferdinand and Isabella are buried here, the Catholic monarchs who completed the Reconquista. No videos allowed inside. We needed a pause after all that history. Los Italianos has been serving ice cream in Granada since 1936. Layers of fruit, cream and ice. This is the Cassata we always wanted to try, because this is something we have not seen anywhere else. So this is how it looks. Layered goodness and equally delicious. Cold, fresh, exactly what the afternoon required. One thing immediately stood out to us. Granada doesn't always feel like Spain. The narrow streets of the old city, the tea houses, teterias, with their low cushioned seats and mint tea served in small glasses. Granada carries its Moorish past more visibly than almost anywhere else in Andalusia. 8 centuries of Islamic civilization leave traces. In the streets, in the food, in the atmosphere, in the fact that the Alhambra still stands. Granada has another tradition that makes it unique. At Bar Casa Julio, we experienced Granada's famous free tapas culture. They give you a free tapa. Although it's something that you cannot choose from, they will pretty much, give you whatever they have in the house. So I'll wait for the tapa and show you what I get. Okay, my tapa is here. A plate of something. Lemon egg.
Yep.
Changed with every round. It's one of those small things tells you something larger. In Granada, hospitality isn't an add-on. As the afternoon unfolded, we followed the Darro River. This is right after the Kasba or the Moroccan street, and it's a beautiful little walk. Often described as one of the most beautiful streets in Spain, Carrera del Darro feels almost frozen in time. Ancient buildings line the river, stone bridges connect both sides, and then gradually, through the trees, above the rooftops, the Alhambra begins to appear. Above the river, the Albaicin begins. The old Moorish quarter climbs the hillside opposite the Alhambra in a tangle of whitewashed houses and cobbled lanes that seem designed specifically to make you lose track of where you're going. And from here, Alhambra reveals itself slowly, like a story unfolding with every step. Albaicin, a maze of narrow streets, whitewashed walls, orange trees, and the Moorish past. But Granada still had one more surprise waiting for us: Sacromonte. This is one of the most singular neighborhoods in Spain. Historically home to Granada's Romani community, Sacromonte is built into the hillside itself. The cave dwelling's unique experience, whitewashed at the entrance and surprisingly deep within. And in Sacromonte, flamenco isn't a show, it's a heritage. We watched flamenco inside cuevas in Cale. And flamenco singing carries something, grief maybe, or maybe passion. That's Granada's flamenco, still alive, still felt in the neighborhood where it lives. Then came one of Granada's most iconic moments. You come around a corner and the Alhambra is simply there, all of it. Mirador de San Nicolás arrived during the golden hour, the sunset. That is the best time when you catch this amazing sight right behind, with sweeping views of the Sierras right behind the Alhambra. It's a sight which you're going to behold and remember for the rest of your life. We'd been building toward this moment all day without quite realizing it, for standing here and understanding what Granada is actually about. Tomorrow we go inside, but tonight this was enough. As the night settled over the city, Granada became even more magical. Have dinner at Plaza Nueva because this is the place which comes to life in the night, and perfect place to have your tapa crawl done. I did not crawl because I had 5 tapa at the same place, but this is the place to be. 5 tapa combination, amazing. The second day belonged to the Alhambra. Guys, we have taken the bus C32. There is a more direct bus C30 also. So C30 and C32, both of these you get closer to the cathedral. It's uphill through the trees and then the gates. Roughly 5-6 minutes and it climbed up the Albaicin. Book your tickets well in advance. The Nasrid palaces in particular operate on timed entry and they sell out weeks ahead. Basically show your tickets at the ticket office and it is like a V. So one wing goes to the Generalife, the other wing goes to Alhambra and that complex, because those are in 2 separate hills. This is not a monument you can turn up to on the day and hope for the best. We'll go to Generalife first. This is the Generalife. It's on one hill, and then there is the other hill where you have the Alhambra. We had done it properly and walking through the entrance with the whole complex opening up in front of us, we were glad we had. The summer gardens of the Nasrid Sultans, terraced lawns, long water channels running between cypress hedges. Try visiting early in the morning to beat the heat and beat the crowds, because that is very important. Fountains catching the morning light. The city visible far below, the Alhambra walls rising above. It's hard to imagine a more beautiful introduction to the Alhambra. A reminder that beauty isn't only about architecture, it's also about water and air and the sound of something growing. Then you have another ticket office. They'll scan your passports and stuffs and then you'll be able to reach the Alcazaba and the Nasrid Palace. Here we have the palace, and Alcazaba is the main attraction. Let's go there. Now we are at Alcazaba, able to see Albaicin. This entrance is accessible only once. So inside the Alcazaba, you get those magnificent views from the top of the fort. The Alcazaba is the oldest part of Alhambra. The military fortress that came before the palaces, before the gardens, before all of it. From the Torre de la Villa, its highest point, Granada spreads below you in every direction. This is the kind of view that you get of the Darro river, the gorge walk that we were doing yesterday. You are able to see the fort, the walls from that walk. On top of the fort, and you're able to see the whole Albaicin. Once you are done with the Alcazaba, you also get to see the Carlos V Palace. So it is right across. Dropped into the middle of a Moorish complex in the 16th century by an emperor asserting his presence. It's an interesting contrast. Not beautiful in the way the Alhambra is beautiful, but historically eloquent. A statement carved in stone about who was now in charge. And then the Nasrid palaces. 1 p.m. It's suggested that you be there at least 15 minutes in advance. Nothing in Spain prepares you for this, possibly nothing in Europe. The walls are covered in carved stucco so intricate it looks less like architecture and more like something grown rather than made. Light falling through latticed screens, water running through channels in the floor, the sound of fountains in every courtyard. This is the Palace of the Lions, one of the most Instagrammed part of the Nasrid Palace. The Alhambra is described as the pinnacle of Moorish architecture in Spain, of a civilization at its most refined, as a statement that this was a place of extraordinary human achievement. Incredible time, what views, it's mind-blowing. We were mesmerized to see this kind of views. Knew and heard so much about Alhambra, but finally the kind of views just, spellbound, made us spellbound. After you come out of the Nasrid Palace, you get to see the Jardín del Parta. We spent roughly like 4-5 hours almost.
Yes, approx 5 hours.
Yeah. Guys, when you exit, that time also you have to show your tickets. They will scan it one last time and then you take the exit. So bye bye Alhambra. What a pleasure. After the Nasrid palaces, we needed something simple. Churros and hot chocolate at the Alhambra Churreria. The perfect reward after one of the most remarkable mornings of our Andalusia trip.
I'm ready to have churros with chocolate.
Hot chocolate sauce, they give it in a cup, like 1 full cup of chocolate, and then the churros, and these churros are fresh. Inside they just fried it and then they cut it into pieces and just gave it to us. Yeah, it's not too sweet, very fresh. The churros are a little salty, and that contrast of saltiness and sweet chocolate syrup makes it so yummy. We left Granada that afternoon heading toward Ronda. Granada shows you, in the space of 2 days, the story of civilizations meeting and clashing, and ultimately in the carved walls of the Alhambra, leaving behind something that outlasted all of them. There is a reason people come to Granada and find it difficult to describe to anyone who hasn't been there. It's not one thing. It's the market, the cathedral, the ice cream, and the free tapas, and the Darro walk, and the flamenco in the cave, and the viewpoint where the crowd went quiet. It's all of it together. If you enjoyed this cinematic journey through Granada, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow along for more travel stories. Do watch our other videos in this series from Sevilla, Cordoba, Ronda, and Setenil de las Bodegas. Until the next journey, keep exploring.